Stay informed. Learn about local hazards. Take courses in CPR and first aid. And sign up for local alert systems. An early warning can give you the time you need to prepare for a fast-moving disaster. Be ready. Learn more at americares.org/sendusin.
Charlie did not die from an overdose. Charlie was poisoned.
No other family should go through this. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Use the free tool. Learn if the online pharmacy you're using is safe.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Coming up on a minute left here in the second half of the double minor. It comes across Aho. Wanted to get it to Jarvis off the boards. Back for Gossesbear. Aho! Game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
Hi, it's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here.
And we're tired.
If I nod off during the show,
Yeah.
please, somebody tap me on the shoulder. I'll wake up.
We should have our unofficial show sponsor on the thing. Because are we both sponsored by Celsius today,
No.
or is it just me?
I am not. I didn't have time to stop on the way in. It will be a stop on the way home so I can get there.
Get home, yeah.
My gosh. So, this is the Adam Gold Show. We're live on YouTube as we are every day. Go to YouTube and then search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either one, you'll get to us. And enjoy the show. And maybe you'll watch me nod off. I have actually seen a radio host fall asleep during a show before.
Really?
Yes.
What was the topic?
Good point. Good point. I've said that a lot of people have been listening to me for a long time. No, I used to work for Larry King when Larry King did radio. And King often nodded off. He used to do a late night show. Often would nod off. Sometimes he would just take a little nap during either a commercial break or, get a 4-minute nap and whatever.
Yeah.
It was a late night show. But yes, Larry fell asleep once during a show.
Wow.
And was still awake but asleep at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually did. That happen to me during a Canes Corner podcast one time. It was a pretty late game.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started talking about things that had nothing to do with anything. And I went, okay. With that said, I think it's time to shut it down.
That's my cue.
It wasn't this year, I don't believe. But, hey, look, we're trying to do a lot. Last night was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Last night was a lot. Last night was fun. I have a lot of thoughts. I felt like there are certain times I do the podcast, and if you're not aware, it's not required. But if you're a Hurricanes fan, the Canes Corner podcast, we do a post-game podcast after every game. We started this actually during the season that led up to bubble hockey.
Yeah.
Right? I can go back. It was early November 2019 was, I believe, the first episode.
Wow.
Of doing it after Hurricanes games.
It's a whole different world.
It totally is. It totally is. And I have no idea why I started it other than I thought it would be fun.
Yeah. Yes.
And then now it has become actually part of the job.
Yeah.
But luckily it's still fun.
That's good, yes.
So we try to keep these at about 30 minutes for every game. Most people can't listen to 50 minutes, an hour. When I look at a podcast, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, if they are longer than 40 minutes, man, it's hard to listen to all of it.
Yeah.
It just is. We don't have that kind of time. So I try to keep them to 30 minutes. There are certain times I look down, or actually it's sort of in the upper corner of the, as we're recording, it gives me the time. There are certain times where I look and I'm like, how could we possibly be almost at 30 minutes already?
Right. Time flies when you're having fun.
And last night was one of those times. There was so much to talk about regarding the game. Some of it didn't even involve the game, but I felt, because I do think the podcast it's an emotional, the podcast, the people who listen have an emotional attachment to the team that go maybe a little bit beyond just being a fan. And I think that's what those concentrated listening is about. That was improper English structure. I apologize to the English teachers out there and the writers.
That's okay. We've only got like 2 hours of sleep. We should be allowed.
2.5 hours and then a nap.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I got up. My alarm went off at 5:05 this morning.
Nope.
Yeah,
I
got to bed at almost 3. Anyway, so I'll explain as we get into this why I thought last night was one of those nights that I will never forget when it comes to being a Hurricanes fan. Let's go. Chad LaRose is going to join us in a couple of minutes. And we're going to talk to Chad about the nuts and bolts of the game and Sebastian Aho as a star player, Andrei Svechnikov, the reacquisition of the real Andrei Svechnikov. This is the difference. Now, look, we have to temper this by going, the Devils are the Devils. They were physically compromised in terms of personnel. No Jack Hughes, no Luke Hughes, no Brendan Dillon.
Oh, but they had Dougie Hamilton.
They did have Dougie Hamilton. Actually, I didn't even look to see if he was a minus player last night. The Hurricanes scored twice in the power play among their 5 goals, so he might not have been. And I believe he had an assist on a goal. But here's the thing. We'll talk about a lot of things about the game with Chad, including Carolina's 2 best players. Right? And they were Aho and Svechnikov last night. But I just want to say this before we get to Chad and talk about the game. And this is where last night this is why it resonates for me. I run emotional and sentimental in my fandom. And I said this on the podcast. It's part of why I have become such a big fan of Liverpool. It doesn't have to be about Liverpool. It's about what those clubs, those football clubs in Europe mean to the community. I feel that in a lot of ways because I think that a lot of people look at the Hurricanes almost like their favorite college team. I do think that we're college sports fans first and foremost here, and I think we have translated that that spirit of fandom to the Hurricanes. And to watch the handshake line, I'm like legitimately emotional about this.
I know.
To watch the handshake line at the end and to see Pesce and Slavin and Stahl and Aho and Brindamore.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I wanted FanDuel Sportsnet to just have a camera on Brett Pesce. I didn't care about anybody else. I thought it was interesting that there was a lot of love for Dougie Hamilton. Even Eric Haula. Aho and Haula were talking like they were old buddies.
Right.
And I'm like, why? He was only here half a year. He was a jerk.
Right.
Anyway.
Pesce. Go back to Pesce.
Yeah, just get there. It's a good thing Pesce was at the end of the line because it would have been like traffic.
Yes.
Like we can't merge. Can we please merge? It's a zipper. Come on, people, drivers.
Wade
it's a
Avenue.
zipper. The one, just never mind. If Pesci was first, everybody would have been standing behind him like this. Come on,
Yeah.
can we please do
Just
this?
want to go shower.
It was super emotional for me to watch that. And I said this on the podcast. I think I said it in this aftermath. Because Brett Pesci was legitimately, one of the best players, maybe the best player in the whole series. And his team lost 4 out of 5. And I sent him a text after the game. And again, I'm not friends with Brett. I'm as much friends as you could be with a current player, which is not. We've never hung out or anything like that, but we had a very good relationship. We gave each other stick as much as possible. And I just texted him after the game was over, and I said it was an honor to watch you for 5 games. Because that's what I felt. I felt like watching Brett Pesci, we were fortunate. It was a privilege to be able to watch that performance. And that's all I said to him. I said it was an honor to watch you for 5 games. And he responded to me. I mean, I got the text. The game couldn't have been over more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I got a response from him. And he just, thank you. I miss you guys, all of that. And what I realized watching the embrace and the handshake line, I realized, all right, pro sports is pro sports, and he's a big guy, and he'll move on, and he's going to be a Devil for the next 4 years, but he's always going to be a Hurricane. And part of me is sad for him because I know it can't know anything like this for a fact, right? I can feel that Brett misses that. What he played against last night and what he played against for 5 games. Except the first period, whatever the first period was. I have no idea what that was. I think Brett Pesci misses that. He wishes he was still here. He'll get over it. He'll move on. The Devils will be good. The Devils will be a factor. But man, because of I cry at The Rookie, the movie The Rookie. I bawled my eyes out.
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I do when he said playing catch with his dad. Oh God, I'm a mess.
Gets me.
But it's worse with The Rookie when he calls his kid. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry just thinking about it.
I almost did when Ron was emotional with the line. I said, "Oh," like 10 times.
That's what it was. It was incredible to watch, and that I'll never forget that handshake line. I just won't. All right, let's move on to the game. Chad LaRose, a Hurricanes legend, name on the Stanley Cup, all of that. Sir, were you still positive it was going to be a good outcome 10 minutes into the game?
Oh, man. I mean, they're just relentless, so I knew it wasn't going to – I knew the tables would turn a little. I didn't think they'd go that quick. I thought it would be maybe we'd be down by 1, maybe 2 to start the third period, and then we'd see what happens. But, yeah, man, what a game. I texted Roddy after the game, and he got back to me about 1 in the morning. And, yeah, I was somebody asked me after the game, hey, you going to bed? And I was like, yeah, right. I was like, there ain't no way I'm falling asleep, dude. So, yeah, awesome game, man. And, yeah, I mean, even when they came out and scored those 3 goals and the place was just rocking, then they scored. New Jersey had a really nice goal, Heischer.
Yeah.
Their 4th goal, and, I mean, all they were doing was delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, 3 goals inside of 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I know the goals came less than 4 minutes apart once Carolina got the 1. But talk to me about the momentum of a game, and you've felt it before. We've talked about 2009 when was it UC Jokinen scored to tie it, but that momentum is still real. Even though you guys were on the road then, that momentum is still real within a game where everybody is going just that much faster Is that what happened in the beginning of the second period?
I mean, so for New Jersey's aspect, right, you're up 3-0, and you don't even want Carolina to score. Because once they scored that first goal, and now for Carolina, they're blood in the water.
Yeah.
It was all, they were just running rampant. For the New Jersey sense, now you're on your heels. You're like, man, our season, they had not another tomorrow. Kind of like Game 7, but in Game 7, each team could have won for us, right? Like somebody was moving on. So it was that momentum yesterday was, it just showed that they just got to their game, and there was blood in the water, and you could feel it. And even that fourth goal, like I said, by New Jersey, I had zero doubts still. I was like, there's no chance. It does not hurt to be at Lenovo Arena with the Caniacs, man, because that building and that momentum's, that's real stuff right there.
Yeah, I drew an analogy to the if you go to a golf tournament and you go and you watch some of these guys like hit balls in a driving range, and it just sounds a little different when like a Rory McIlroy hits a ball, or when Tiger Woods in his day hit a ball, or you go to a baseball game and you hear the sound of the bat when Aaron Judge makes solid contact. Yeah. When Andrei Svechnikov scores a goal, Lenovo Center feels different. The fact that he tied the game, there was no way anybody could recover from that.
No, yeah, and he's tearing it up,
yeah.
And that was huge because him scoring. I feel like you can feel his goals, and I feel like when he hits somebody, he's so damn strong that when he pops somebody, I'm like, he's just so solid. He puts his fingerprints all over the game, and yeah, man, it was awesome.
Chad LaRose is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Sebastian Aho as their number one center, their leader among the forwards. Jordan Stahl is the captain and all of that, but they go as Aho goes. And when he gets his competitive juices really going, he had 5 hits last night. He's not known as somebody throwing his body around, but I've always said this about Aho. When he gets angry, and I thought he played angry from the start of the second period on, man, that's my favorite Aho. Angry Aho is just amazing.
Yeah, he's a game changer, right? When I talked last time on the air about needing goalies and rats, if you look up and down, Aho's a rat. Svechnikov's, they're rats. They're not Jarvis. All those guys are super skilled, but their competitive mojo, they play a rat mentality, and they're going to outwork you, and they're going to find a way. And that's kind of what I meant about being rats. Like, it's not just the third and fourth. The top guys, when they turn their playoff game into rat fest with their skill, man, they can just. You saw it right there, right? And I didn't have a doubt. Like, when Mercer took the incidental high stick in overtime, I looked at my friend and I was like, man, that's a tough way to finish the season because he's ending his year in the penalty box because this one's over.
Oh, my God.
This one's over.
It took a while. It took a little bit more than 3 minutes of the double minor.
Yeah, it did.
But by the way, on that power play, Aho had, I think, 5 shot attempts on the power play. He was ready to get this. Maybe I don't know, maybe he wanted to go to bed. Let me ask you about the young kid, Jackson Blake, because for me, and we have seen this all year. Now the production is starting to also show over the last 3-4 weeks of the regular season, and now to the playoffs, we're starting to see the production. But he has an uncanny ability. He's not tiny. I thought he was smaller than he is. He's a solid 5'11", and I think he can probably play at about 185, 190 pounds, maybe slightly bigger than Jarvis. He has an uncanny ability to come away out of a wall battle with bigger players. He has the puck. More often than not, he ends up with the puck. When you watch him, what is it about him that allows him to do that?
he's got such a nose for the puck, right? He's always on it. And when he goes into those battles, he's low and he's not looking for a complete knockout of a hit, right? He's in more of the hands area, but he's relentless on that puck. And it is weird when you think it's a battle and he just comes out and he's 2 feet away from everybody and he's got the puck. You're like, how'd that happen? I think his work ethic, his dad was a super hard worker.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in him. And, he's got that pesky attitude of how it looks on the ice, but relentless, man. Their whole team plays like that. And I think him being with Rod, just solidifies how good he is and giving him that freedom of playing with top guys. And it shows, he's super skilled. He's really strong on the puck. And, and it seems like he's just got a nose for the puck. Every time he's out there, you can see 53 going. And he's exciting to watch.
He's his dad, Jason. Jason was a rat. He played that way.
Yep.
You didn't want to play against him. He was super fast, and he was very difficult to play against. I know it wasn't last night, but I got to get your thoughts on the Jacob Slavin goal from Game 4. Because I'm still thinking about what I watched, and that I just couldn't believe it.
Well, I loved it. Stefan Nason, you better look out, buddy. Come on here. But the play where he knocks it down and then uses his top hand. His right hand on the stick to knock it back and jump the other side of him.
Yeah.
And then, the shot's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I loved that goal. I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, sick this is? Yeah, that was nasty. And, it was – yeah, he's just so solid. And, people who don't watch Carolina hockey now are like, at Four Nations, his name started coming. I'm like, dude, this is him. Dude.
Yeah.
You guys just don't see him all the time. He's one of the best, man. And his footwork, his skating, he's just rock solid everywhere. And then to go with a rock solid defenseman like that and then make a play like that, you're like, oh, my God.
He's a killer.
So,
he
is.
When we talked to Seth Jarvis was quoted. I shouldn't say, and when we talked to. I talked to Seth about this after the fact. But Seth was asked, because he knew he was going to have to play against Slavin at Four Nations. Yeah. He was asked about it, and Jarvis went, I don't want to play against him because he'd beat you, and then he wouldn't even chirp you. He would just skate away. And Jarvis like, I don't know if I could deal with that.
That is the best thing about him, right? He just straight lace. He's zoned. He's zoned it's like it's getting paddle whack type of thing, and nobody's saying anything about it, and just keep on moving, not knowing why this guy just ran me through the wall or took the puck off my stick and just kept going. He just seems so focused and. Just what's the next play? Takes it kind of seconds at a time, and man, what a credit and what a player.
Before we say goodbye to Chad LaRose, do you care if it's Washington or Montreal?
No. No, I don't. I think, either way. I don't think it'll be Montreal. I think it'll be Washington, but I would like to see Montreal win tonight. Of course, I'd like to see that go for a minute. But yeah, and then no matter who it is, I think that you got to play your game, and the coaching staff at Carolina, they'll prepare for whatever team it is. They do such a great job of that, right? You can see it. I don't even have to hear or read about it. You just watch, and they have, they prepare for their teams, and they'll be ready. And they got a little bit of break, and get some guys healthy and see what's up with Freddie and go from there.
Get Freddie healthy. Hopefully the power play continues doing what the power play is doing. 6 for 19.
And the PK.
Yeah,
and the PK.
PK has been tremendous. The PKs in the third period were absolutely critical. Chad LaRose, name on the Stanley Cup. My man, I appreciate your time. We will talk again very soon. You know that.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for having me.
You too. Chad LaRose here on the Adam Gold Show. It was an awesome night last night.
I know, and we're on a streak now. We can officially say it's a streak. I haven't had to use the dump button for three
There's
Chad
3 in a row.
interviews.
That's right.
I'm so proud
it's
of
an official
him.
streak.
I'm so proud.
That was very Lou Brown of you. That was very nice.
I know. I tried.
2 in a row is not a streak. 3
It's a streak.
is a streak. All right, when we come back, because I don't care about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. I don't care about the relationship. Not a single fiber of my humanity cares. I don't care. I'm not in any way interested in why they're together, what they do. I am amused by the goofy photos we have seen, all that stuff, but I don't care about it. As long as it doesn't impact football, then I don't care, and nobody else should care. But recent events, and I don't think this impacts football. Recent events have caused this to become a national story. Why is the relationship between a geriatric football coach, legendary that he is, and if you're 24, Gen Z? Is that Gen Z?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Max, do you know?
I'm pretty sure.
Is 24
He's
Gen
shaking
Z?
his head, yes.
Yeah.
So.
I think he's just nodding for no apparent reason. Whatever it is, why should anybody care? But they do. And you would not believe the takes from people just based on, granted, a slightly embarrassing interview on CBS This Morning the other day. We'll get in. I want you to hear 2 things, including somebody who is calling for UNC to fire him. Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Golden. I am in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Quality you can afford. Another of the great mottos of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. What do you mean by that?
Well, isn't that great? That's
It's great. I like that.
So
as a motto.
we have customers all the time that call us out for windows, and they don't think they can do all of them at once. And you don't have to with us for sure, but we have 18 months zero interest financing. We have all kinds of plans actually. So whatever your budget is, if you're putting off windows because you don't think you can do it now, call us out and let us at least price it for you and give you some options of how we can make it easier.
I like making it easier. What if they don't want to do the whole job right away?
No problem. We can do the front of the house. We can start on the front, the sides, whatever you need. I mean, the deal is we come out and we're here to help you figure out a project that works for you and maybe take care of the worst things first.
What about down payments?
0.
What do you mean 0?
I mean, you don't have to pay a penny until we're done with the work. We're one of the few.
Or maybe the only.
Maybe the only.
I wouldn't go to another company.
That's awesome.
800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
There's so much to love about North Carolina, but we all want more. More boundless views, more pristine scenery, more wildlife, more adventures, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Properly disposing of waste is never a waste of time. It leads to a more enjoyable environment for much longer. So, when traveling in North Carolina, make it your nature to trash your trash. Leave it more beautiful than when you found it. And we will all have more reasons to love NC. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, in cooperation with this station.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia, Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. So I was perusing the interwebs, and remember the other day, was it yesterday? It was the day before. I read the email that Bill Belichick sent out to various staffers / friends, whatever, about the publicity for the book, his book. I don't know the title. I don't. I'll learn the title. I'll care about the title if, in fact, we ever get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah,
and
or if
promote
Jordan
the book.
lets him
Right.
put it out there.
Exactly. I'm sure the title of the book is available. So, but I read the email, and this was an email sent to friends. It was not an email sent to the public. And the gist of the email, to me, says they set a trap for the media. They knew that the media would latch on to a negative. The I bleeped up with whatever he bleeped up about. And he goes, I have no problem admitting, we made mistakes. I made mistakes as a football coach. We made mistakes as staff. He has no problem admitting that. And when you win a lot, and he has won basically more than anybody, you can admit that. Because you've won so much. But the whole point of that was they knew that the negative would be a selling point. And they referenced an article that was written, and he said the headline would be more important than the actual article. Frankly, he's right. The majority of people that get mad about a certain article written only look at the headline. Maybe they read the first paragraph, but they don't read the entire thing. That's human nature. We have time, we have short attention spans, whatever it is. But it sounded to me like Bill was just laying a trap to help create some tension, some animosity between the media and I guess, his camp. I mean, I guess that's always going to be there now. That this is the way athletics views media that isn't controlled by athletics. And that's the embrace debate culture, where we have to find the salacious in everything in order to get ratings, get clicks, sell papers, whatever it is. I'm not. I think people understand. I'm not. I really don't like that element. It's not. I don't care about it. But for me, it's clear that they are trying, for whatever reason, they are trying to make the book really happen. And Bill's like, really would just like to talk about my coaching influences and things like, okay, great. You can, but that's not how the book is going to get publicized, and they know it. So anyway, the CBS This Morning, whatever show it was that he was on, they were so put off by Jordan Hudson's intrusions that they included it.
Right.
Because, and this is why they included it, and I understand why they're making it part of the story, is because their goal wasn't really to talk about the book. Their goal was Bill Belichick, high-profile football coach, is going to be an attention grabber everywhere. And our goal is not to talk about football on CBS This Morning. Our goal is to talk about Bill and the relationship with Jordan. Yeah, all the pictures. There'd be no reason to bring that up. Everybody knows this. I don't know if it's selling books or not. Again, I don't know the title. Anyway, at the end of that, because Jordan Hudson posted that email on her Instagram. And at the bottom of the page, it says, a full statement will follow later. I think it said later today. They have not released a full statement. Somehow this has become a story that they have not released a full statement. Why does anybody, I mean, I understand she said it, but why does anybody have to release a full statement? It is what it is. If you can't figure out what they're trying to do with that email that Bill sent out to various people, if you can't figure that out, I don't know what to say. They laid a trap. The media took it. Now they're trying to create this poop storm about a book that will be a drop in the bucket next to the millions that Bill Belichick has earned. I don't really get it, but to me, that's what they're trying to do. Bill's not using this to get back in the NFL because it's the opposite. So here's my now, as I set it up before, Ted Johnson played for Belichick. I think he was a linebacker. I think Ted Johnson early in his days with the Patriots. And he went on WFNZ. He's also a Colorado grad. We're picking up this clip maybe a third of the way in, where he references the fact that he doesn't like Deion Sanders being the head coach of his school. He went to the University of Colorado. And here's Ted Johnson on this is on WEEI in Boston, talking about Belichick in North Carolina.
Because I hold college coaches to a higher standard than I do NFL coaches. When it comes to morally, they are supposed to be leaders of men, set a good example, that kind of thing. So that leads me to what's going on at UNC with Bill Belichick. And I think, and I'm surprised that UNC never called Atlanta on why they passed on Bill Belichick and hiring Atlanta. My feeling is that the Atlanta Falcons are kind of looking at the UNC going, you should have called us. You should have called us. And I say all that to say this, that I think the UNC Carolina Tar Heels should consider firing Bill Belichick. That they should consider letting him go at this point. It's a lot of money, and they're deep into obviously their preparation for next year. But I look at Bill Belichick, and I wonder if he's fit to coach an NFL team, let alone fit to coach a college team, which, again, I put more onus on the character and personality and just overall a character, if you will, of a college coach than I do a pro coach. And so I'm worried that Bill Belichick just isn't fit to coach college kids, and UNC should consider cutting ties with Bill Belichick.
All right, here's my question. Based on ... question mark. Based on what? My take on Teddy Johnson. Did Bill cut you? No, legitimate question.
Maybe.
How was your exit
Yeah.
from New England?
It matters.
Because I don't understand the connection between character. Is it poor character of Bill Belichick to be dating a 24-year-old? That would be a fair question for Ted Johnson. Is that evidence of poor character or lack of morals or it doesn't fit into your higher standard of behavior because you're dating a 24-year-old? Is that what you're driving at? Or is there something in your past relationship with Belichick where you don't like him? Which, by the way, you're probably at the head of a long list. But that spoke to me as, based on what? What is the evidence that you've got that he is not fit? What? like we're running the country. Okay. Silly stuff from Ted Johnson on WEI in Boston. Now, Pete Souza, who maybe I should know, but I don't. He apparently works for ESPN and has his own podcast outside of ESPN. He might be like a contract employee. He does play-by-play for ESPN. He does other things, does all sorts of sports. And this is, I believe, from his own podcast. And he is talking about, I guess, the way coaches like Belichick and to an extent Deion Sanders have kind of bastardized college sports.
There have always been reflections, but it's kind of like been behind closed doors. Like, you know that Jerry Tarkanian is cheating his rear end off, but, you know, UNLV's winning championships, and that's going on over here in the dark, and so we put Tark up over here. But now everything's out there. For instance, like these universities and how they are selling their souls to the personalities who generate money for them, we're getting hit over the head with it like a sledgehammer, like Deion, like Shadur's number getting retired. Like in no other world does that happen, but you've got this figure who is like a cash cow for your university and your institution. So you're forgoing any sense of history or foresight, really, and it's like, let's keep him happy right now because he is the conductor of the money train. Sure, let's retire his son's number. UNC, the same thing. Like
the difference is
any other coach, right? Any other situation like this around a university, it's like, but what's going on with Bill Belichick is completely over the moon crazy right now.
Yeah.
You could say this publicly, but it seems like the university is like, yep, nothing to see here, all good. Which is like, these are institutions of higher learning. We know that it's kind of a joke now. We know that it's pay for play. But boy, it's never been more evident that these schools are just like, yeah, whatever you want to do.
I'm not even sure what the point is of what Pete Souza is trying to get at, other than I do see this element that I'm sure that the University of North Carolina wishes that the story wasn't about Bill and Jordan. I'm sure they wishes it wasn't about that. But in the grand scheme of things, they hired Belichick for a reason, and they are getting exactly what they hired him for. Attention. Now, their goal was attention and great football. Right now, what we're dealing with is a very large gap in time between the hiring, spring ball, which whatever, and the start of the season. And the time is being filled. In the NFL, we'd be filling that time with the draft and voluntary mini camps. I've seen already plenty of highlights of players who showed up for voluntary off-season workouts, which is before mini camp. And so we have nothing really until we get to the start of training camp at the end of July. But it's football. Here, we don't have that. There's no draft. Spring ball is lightly covered, for the most part. And we have nothing to do between now and the time we get to the time that the players report and we start thinking about the season. They are selling a book, and this is the attention that they're getting. But UNC is getting exactly what they paid for. There's no barring a scandal, none of this is scandalous. Barring a scandal, there's no chance that the University of North Carolina moves Bill Belichick out. None. They have invested way too much. And frankly, what's going on isn't embarrassing to UNC. Except, as I said yesterday, the real embarrassment is, why weren't you wearing UNC gear?
I know, instead of your 85-year-old sweatshirt.
With a hole.
With a hole
in it.
Your Navy sweatshirt.
Yeah, come on. And she was wearing a Naval Academy sweatshirt, too.
At least look the part.
So, yeah. Look, she's also in the running for Miss Maine USA.
Interesting.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, I have not seen the candidates. I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't even know what goes into that.
No.
I really don't. Do you have a gown? Do we have gown, swimsuit?
Maybe.
Is there a talent
there
level?
There might be a talent show.
Interrupting
Trivia.
Is interrupting a talent? Can we do that?
Exactly.
Is that it? Because if interrupting
yep.
is part of the talent, then
right?
she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it.
That picture
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like,
yeah. Okay.
I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong. You're not. But I didn't say it. I just want everybody to know.
It's fine. I did.
I did not say it. That's Victoria. At V_the_.
You can at me.
2. No, it's at V_2_the_Victoria.
Yes, right now.
And an underscore.
Right now, my Lucky Cheez-Its are winning Twitter. So
are they?
I have Lucky Cheez-Its. I'll have to explain maybe in the next hour. But yeah.
All right.
Lucky Cheez-Its.
We have one. I really don't know. We have one-timers next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
Are you living your best life? Do you know AARP North Carolina is working to make communities great for all ages, help workers find easier ways to save, improve healthcare quality and access, and to protect important programs like Social Security and Medicare? Learn more about all that AARP is doing to help people of all ages by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma. support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero. Fight stigma. Save a life.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Devant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Gold. Gold.
If Andrei Svechnikov watched Eric Cole highlight tapes and caused chaos.
Hey, hashtag, you didn't even mean to do that, did you?
I didn't. Well, that's the old one.
I know, but
right?
It's still relevant.
Now we're raising up. Maybe we should go back to cause
I know, we
chaos.
need to go back to causing chaos.
It's interesting. I did kind of subconsciously bring that out.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. TMZ Sports. UNC personnel worried about the relationship between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson.
So are we doing welfare checks now?
So, yeah. TMZ Sports. Remember, it's UNC personnel.
Yeah.
That could be anybody.
Yes.
That could be the person at the library.
It could be. Person at the gas station that saw them.
But this is, it's going to reach new levels of dumb, but I think it's all by design. I find it to be a grift. It's time for one-timers.
All right, so kicking things off, we do have a couple on our YouTube stream.
Sure.
And no surprise, it's about our Carolina Hurricanes. Let's go, Canes.
85% of our questions are about the Hurricanes.
Makes sense, though. This one, first up from Matthew. For Game 1 versus Washington, will Nikishin play all 60 minutes or just 55?
Yes.
Just yes.
But he's going to play center, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because Rod won't take Brent Burns or Dmitry Orlov out of the lineup because he just loves them so much. So Nikishin is going to play center, to be third center. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi may come out of the lineup.
Yeah. He was up in the media section yesterday. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I did see him.
Row.
Yeah, very simple suit. There's no flash at all to Alexander Nikishin's.
The NFL will love him.
We'll draft him number 1 overall.
Exactly. So next up from Al, let's see here. Seems Taylor was a little sluggish the last couple of games outside of several shifts, ? This is their opinion. Al's opinion, not mine.
Meaning Taylor Hall.
Yes.
I don't know why when you said Taylor.
You thought Swift?
I did. That's weird.
That's because we're running on fumes.
Yeah, okay. But there was a Taylor Swift kind of tinge to the Jordan Hudson thing.
Yeah.
I didn't delve into it, but apparently she said she might have put a Taylor Swift lyric out or something. I don't know. I really don't know. And I know I've been reading about a beef between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And Ryan Reynolds.
Reynolds and Blake Lively are the thing.
Just associated.
But yes, but it's just, I don't care. Anyway, Hall has not been great all the time. He has been like everybody else, I think. There have been times where he has made some mistakes, and there have been some times where I think he's been excellent, and I'm not in any way concerned. Look, the other team's trying too.
Yeah.
I think we have to allow, especially when you get into the playoffs, everybody's good. Everybody's good anyway, but I'm not in any way concerned about Taylor Hall. He'll be a very good player. He'll be a 45 to 55 point player for Carolina for the next at least 2 of the 3 years. He is 34, so.
Yes. Well, speaking of Taylor Hall, he was just signed. He got an extension, 3-year, $9.5 million. So what does this extension mean, if anything, regarding other players, and how do you feel about it?
What it means for other players. Actually, that's the 11th forward that has a contract for next year already. So theoretically, the Carolina Hurricanes have one spot. That's before they even attempt to sign Eric Robinson, which I hope they will do. I think Robinson really fits the Hurricanes. What it says to me is that they're going to make some moves that might impact the NHL forward group coming up in the offseason. When we come back, Eric Cole on Game 5.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. If you're like most people, you have racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Again, the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I noticed that my central vision started to blur.
Figures that are usually straight started to distort to become wavy.
What are these little dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing?
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever?
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Now Aho will keep it in. Canes have the momentum. They've tilted the ice. Svechnikov with it. He'll drop it back for Aho. He'll leave it here for Orlov. Orlov wants to make a move. Up top, Svechnikov. He scores! That's the magic! We're tied at 3! Gostisbehere looking for a lane. Jarvis thought about teeing it up. Jarvis side of the net, they score! Jarvis to Aho! A power play goal! And the Canes have tied it at
4. Hello, friends. It's Adam Gold. It's the Adam Gold Show. I have no idea why I did that. Oh, man, I'm still a little punchy from last night. Eric Cole, name on the Stanley Cup. All right, sir, let me just ask you this. What were your thoughts after the opening 10 minutes last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think I turned the game on and just real quickly went to go, do something around the house, and I came back to the TV. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, boy. I was like, this doesn't look good.
No.
Yeah, I think, just like everyone else, they were, really, shocked by the way the Devils came out. And, I mean, they did what they had to do, an elimination game. And, they came in and, scored, took the crowd right out of it. And, it made the victory for the Hurricanes, in my opinion, just so much sweeter, with the way they hung in there and just continued to battle.
Eric Cole is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Here's the thing. Even though it was 3-0, Carolina had a couple of chances at the end of the first period. I legitimately still thought that Carolina was going to win the game. I said it, I put it out on social media. I said it to Walt Ruff, who works for the team. He's joined me as the guest in the first intermission on the radio. And I said, I still feel like the Canes are going to win the game. And the turnaround at the start of the second period, it's like everybody woke up. Like, oh, wait a second, the game started. Andrei Svechnikov was the only one going in the first period, to be honest. At least he played with that kind of energy. But once the first one went, you knew it was happening. I mean, I did. You could feel that it was going to happen. I just didn't think it would happen within the first 6 minutes of the period.
Yeah, I think, and that's just what's so great about playoff hockey is the momentum swings and the momentum changes that can happen so quickly. Like not even just like, through the course of a series, but like also, just from one period to the next, the momentum just all changes and it goes the other way. That's what makes it so much fun.
All right, now you and I have talked about Andrei Svechnikov. When we spoke 2 weeks ago, we were wondering where he was. It looked like we reacquired him during the series. I mean, he played the type of game. Forget about the goals. And I said this after Game 4. The goals were great. I could explain the goals away in each situation as being the product of something that somebody else did. But Andre got back to playing the more physical, direct game, and lo and behold, the goals come.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's one of those things where, as a player, you pay attention kind of to the process a little bit more, and if you do that, before you know it, you're getting better results, right behind it. So it's he had a great series, and you hope that he just can continue to play that well for the whole spring.
Yeah, and it's likely, although, stranger things have happened, it's likely going to be Washington in the next round, so it'll be fun to see Andre going up against that team. We go back 7 years, and it was the team that knocked him out of the playoffs for a while. Eric Cole is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I have compared, when I talk about Sebastian Aho, I have compared him to gumbo. In that you don't realize, you take a couple of bites, you don't realize all of a sudden, man, that's spicy. It's like the fourth bite when you go, okay, that's hot. I think Aho is sort of that sneaky hot player who just all of a sudden you realize, man, this guy is really good and is a complete player. But when he turns it on, when he goes to an 11, I mean, he can be an absolutely electric. I thought he was last night.
Yeah, I think he's definitely shown it his whole career, just how he can be such a quality playoff performer, and to your point, like such a complete player. He competes in all three zones. He's just really, really high hockey IQ, and he's in my opinion, like he's kind of the engine that drives the bus when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes.
When I compare him to a former player, and it's not that long ago, to me he's a lot like Nick Backstrom was when he was healthy with Washington, in that you just don't realize how good he is at times because he's not a flashy player, and he doesn't do like what McKinnon or McDavid does when they just take over games. I mean, we see that occasionally, but he's just not that kind of player. But he's just so complete. He's been winning faceoffs at an incredible rate in this series. He won 13 of 22 last night. He won like 65% in Game 4, and he's just so responsible. It's made. I think everybody that watches the team realizes how good he is. Even though we'd love to have a McKinnon. There's only a handful of those. They broke that mold. Let me ask you about the start for Kochetkov, which not awesome. But when your goaltender is fighting it, and you've been in this situation, how do you deal with that as a player? How do you kind of shield him?
It obviously wasn't the start that anyone wanted, but and it's not all on him, but it's up to everybody to help him settle in, and you're just going to do everything that you can, blocking shots, just playing a little harder defensively and everything, trying to make sure that you're getting him like into his groove, because once he's there, like we've all seen it, he's very, very effective.
Right.
So, and he's such a good player that, or like good guy in the room that the guys are all, rooting for him and pulling for him to be successful.
So let me ask you about the handshake line real quick, because Eric Cole is joining us here. And I know you might not have the same relationship with a player like Brett Pesce that clearly the core guys on that team do. But I wanted a Pesci cam. I just wanted a camera focused solely on Brett Pesci for all those handshakes. Like, I know there were former teammates in there. Dougie Hamilton was there. Eric Haller was there. Steph Nason. I was actually surprised at some of the warmth shown Haller, which I was in some ways bewildered by. But the Pesci stuff hit me very differently because I almost feel like a piece of him is still here.
Yeah, I think, that just goes with anything when it comes to, a former teammate and somebody that was, very well-liked in the room and, spent, he was here for 9 seasons?
Yeah.
And let's face it, did he really want to end up having to go to New Jersey? Probably not.
No.
It's a business, and, that's just kind of how things go. So it's, I'm not surprised at all that, such a well-liked player, by his teammates was given some really warm embraces, in the handshake line, because obviously, that's one of the best parts about playoff hockey is, the handshake, congratulating the victors at the end of it.
All right, I know we got to let you go. I think it's your honor. Let me ask you this question about moving on from series to series. What are the players dealing with today? How do you reset, refocus? You don't even know who you're playing yet, and get ready for the next week.
Yeah, the biggest thing is rest, but active rest. You don't want to just sit around and do nothing. You just need to just active rest. Make sure that you're, plenty of rest, plenty of good nutrition, and you just, you're recharging the batteries. If anything's a little banged up, you're, living on a game ready or sleep it on kind of thing. And then you watch, I'm sure, that was always, my big thing was, you're always watching the other series, going on and paying attention to, try and pick up tendencies. You're always kind of doing your own little pre-scout.
Well, I'll be doing that tonight with the Capitals and the Canadiens on my television. I trust you will too. I thank you very much, Eric Cole. Always good to catch up. And if you need any resume help or anything like that, I'm here for you.
I think I'm going to be setting up a phone call here to talk with those folks soon. So wish me luck.
Always. You don't need luck. You just need to be you. That's my advice.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
We may have interrupted a match.
Potentially.
It's possible.
It's okay.
Very possible.
It's okay. And who wouldn't hire Eric? I would hire Eric. Duh.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, Chip Patterson, I wonder if he has caught Hurricanes fever yet.
Ooh, maybe he's wearing a Carolina Hurricanes anything today. Maybe a bow tie. We haven't seen a bow tie on Chip in a long time.
You're right. Mm-hmm. He wore a tuxedo one day.
He did.
Yeah.
He's very dapper.
Chip Patterson, I'm sure this will be good. I bet he doesn't care either about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. We'll find out next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants goal!
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Adam Gold here from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. You have heard the phrase, timing is everything, but what if timing doesn't necessarily work out when you need a mortgage? Why should you be held hostage by timing? You need a mortgage when you need a mortgage. Who cares what the rate is? Don't pay closing costs, save yourself thousands, refinance when the rate drops, and they will, free of charge. Miller Lending. Gordon Miller invented the no closing cost mortgage, so timing wouldn't be a factor. So you can save thousands, $5,000 generally, what closing costs are. All you're doing if you pay them is saving about $50 a month on your mortgage payment. That's great and all, but it'll take you 8 years to make that money back. The rates will drop, promise. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
WREL News at 6 is coverage you can count on. Get the biggest stories of the day and breaking news as it happens.
Plus, complete weather coverage of your town.
WREL News has everything you need when you need it, including this special report.
A costly mistake damaging dozens of cars.
It sputtered and like it was having trouble breathing.
Over the next month, 5 on Your Side fixed it. How we got all cars repaired for life and the warning signs for your car. Tomorrow at 6.
April is National Safe Digging Month. 811 is the first step to getting your buried underground utilities like gas, electric, or internet lines located. Having these lines marked before digging helps keep you, your family, and your neighborhood safe. Play it safe when you plan on digging and call or click 811 3 working days before you dig. Learn more at nc811.org. Sponsored by North Carolina 811 and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with the station.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
I'm really excited about next season, considering this was supposed to be a rebuild year. But with these new guys, like Bradley Nadeau, we've got Nikishin coming eventually. If we've got Hall still here, Jackson Blake, I mean, there's so much promise and potential. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, and just wait till the big kid gets ready to play.
The Adam Gold Show.
All fun stuff.
Yes.
Coming out of last night's Game 5 win.
And also to help us wake up. Because, I mean, good, peppy music will do that. But we have things to celebrate.
This feels like it's like that mid-afternoon spot where, I just need 15 minutes. That's what happens in my house. Aileen will say, I just need 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, I think in her mind, she wants me to wake her up at 15 minutes.
You're right.
She does. But her heart says no.
Please don't.
Exactly. Her mind is telling it, Adam, wake me up in 15 minutes. but her heart is screaming,
yes,
let me sleep longer.
Please, you go do the barn things and tell Harriet to leave me alone.
Very good point. Harriet's probably upside down sleeping anyway. All right, Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com. Cover 3 podcast moderator, my friend, not wearing a bow tie. I appreciate your time. All right, let's dig in. Let's get really into the relationship between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. I am annoyed, not by the story, not by Bill and Jordan versus anything. I am annoyed that this has become a story. Is this a void? Is this, there's no college football news, and so the media is lopping onto this because there's nothing sexy about Aaron Rodgers still not signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're using Belichick, who is an attention magnet anyway, and his relationship with Jordan Hudson to make this part of the news cycle.
The hire of Bill Belichick was an unprecedented hire.
Yeah.
I think that you are welcoming one-of-a-kind situation when you bring in a coach as accomplished as he is at the NFL, as limited college experience as he has had. You know, someone reached out to me and asked why was the SID, not around for the interview with CBS Sunday Morning? Where was the North Carolina representation?
Right.
Now, my response...
He was wearing a Navy shirt. That's why I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, he wasn't promoting the University of North Carolina, and that was my response.
Right.
This is just part of Bill Belichick, Inc.
Yeah.
And I think that when you hired Bill Belichick, you invested $10 million a year into Bill Belichick, Inc. You are help funding the operation around Bill Belichick. Now, for a long time, the operation around Bill Belichick was a mom and pop store. It was the kind of place out on the island in Nantucket where you could go get chicken salad and hammers, both at the same place, right? This mom and pop store liked to keep to itself, wasn't really trying to do a lot, right? Just trying to stay low key. Well, unfortunately, what we have now is a multinational corporation with its arms and legs in every industry and plans to expand. So Bill Belichick, Inc. has been transformed. And that's where I am not sick of this. I might be sick of talking about it,
right?
But I think there is just a one-of-a-kind aspect to this where we won't see it again. A coach that accomplished, put in this situation with everything that's going on around him, and also the way it has played out, the missteps, the places where you thought one thing, but that's not the way this works, and to now game out. And this is why we're talking about it a lot on April 30th. To game out, well, if these mistakes are being made now, what about the mistakes that are going to need to happen that are more involved to the University of North Carolina football program and less about Bill Belichick, Inc.? Because truthfully, I think that right now it's Bill Belichick, Inc. is out on the road promoting a book because that's what Bill Belichick, Inc. has on the schedule. If these things continue to become an issue, if these things become an issue more impactful directly to the football program, then I think the conversation changes quickly.
And that has been my take. I don't really care that she's controlling. I don't care that some people are put off by, this, what was it called? May, December. I don't even know. It's really December, January. It's the other end of the spectrum because of the age difference. I don't care about any of that. I don't care how this is being portrayed. I don't understand how people are calling for the university to fire him without giving any real reason other than morals. What is immoral about single man, single woman, single man, whatever? Two consenting adults having a relationship.
I don't think anybody reasonable is calling for that.
Well, I agree with you, but we are spending way too much time on the relationship as opposed to whether or not it impacts UNC. But you first of all, chicken salad and hammers in the same spot. That's a great store.
Yeah, it's good.
The
chicken salad is going to be great.
Oh, it's amazing.
If I can get chicken salad and hammers in the same place, that's going to be incredible chicken salad.
I only need one hammer, though, but it's fine. Maybe, never mind. We can go anywhere from that. But you talked about what mistakes have been made other than for her being too controlling in these interview settings to the point where it's become part of the story. And I don't know that isn't by design, because it does appear that they are operating on it doesn't matter what type of attention, all the attention will help sell the book. I thought the email that he wrote to concerned people in whatever that email chain was that she put on Instagram, I think that was part of the whole process to let everybody know that this is all just a grift to sell the book.
I think that it's the, Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated was talking about how difficult it is to cover this situation, because he said, if you are playing the role of manager, if you are seemingly holding an office and decision-making power within the University of North Carolina football program, you're no longer part of the personal life. Now you're somebody who should be covered differently. And if she is holding, not just, if she's not just in her personal life, dating Bill Belichick, her twin flame, or his creative muse, as he writes in the opening of his book, if she is holding real influence and power and be in a position as part of the University of North Carolina football program, well, now, we get to observe scrutiny and maybe take a different look at things.
But she's not, right? She's not an employee of UNC.
Right, but I'm saying the position of influence would be something worth acknowledging, right?
Right.
So the reporting from, The Athletic that has her very involved in the brand messaging of the way the coaching staff comes together. And, very much concerned about the official social media accounts and the influence. The influence makes it a very interesting story to consider. So,
I mean,
we'll see.
To me, it's like Miss Terry or Sally, but she is more present than Miss Terry. Miss Terry and Sally were sort of, and I'm not diminishing their role or their influence at all. That's not the point. But they're almost like props. What Mac Brown would refer to his wife Sally, or what Nick Saban would call Miss Terry. They're like, I don't know, the good side on one shoulder, and then there's this evil thing on the other shoulder that isn't Sally or Miss Terry. And they would use those references. She is present. And I'm not saying she's on either shoulder. She is present. And I think people looked at Bill Belichick, and I think this is in some reasons why this has become even a bigger story. People have looked at Bill Belichick as the thumb your nose at authority guy. Nobody tells Bill what to do. And here is a 70-some-year-old man who has accomplished everything in football being run by a 24-year-old woman who has accomplished, in their eyes, nothing. And they can't figure it out. And I think this is in large part why we're having this uprising.
Don't you think, and I've got no digging on this myself, but don't you think that the only reason why the interruption was included in the final 8-minute piece that aired on CBS Sunday Morning was because the influence and impact of her presence was significant?
Yeah, and that's why CBS included it. But I also don't know that it wasn't by design.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we're getting now I just think it's an interesting story to consider. If I was to write this as a novel, you would turn to the next chapter. Hey, that's it. I just stumbled upon my ultimate thought on this. If you were to strip out all the context and everything and I was to write this as a novel with fictional names and just enough backstory for you to be able to understand the narrative, you would turn to the next chapter. You'd be like, oh man, okay. Well, let's see how this goes.
Oh, yeah, okay. You put this at the end of the chapter. This is famous in page-turner books. We have a lot of crap at the beginning of a chapter or like in the middle of a chapter, but at the end, oh, man, I got to find out how this turns out because people don't like to end in the middle of a chapter. Right, we want to get to the end of it because it's a much more natural break, but they get you.
You understand what I'm saying? That like if this was to be a movie or a television show, the setups of this, all of it is just like, wow, okay.
Well, in that email, Bill admits that he knows that people are not going to be drawn to the book by the purpose of the book. Right, well, the purpose of the book was to make money, but by the purpose of writing the book, which was to talk about, I guess, influences in coaching and his philosophies and things that matter to him.
I think you were asking earlier. I think to post the email was a misstep.
Okay.
I just think that I think we've got warring tactics when it comes to we've got a generational gap that is being
guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, but we've just got a generational gap that's being exposed with the warring PR tactics of all this.
Yeah. Like she is definitely all about attention, right? There's no.
I don't know. I don't know what. Again, just generational gap. I can't tap into it. I feel alien. I don't know. I'm gonna claim I don't know here. Especially on this unprecedented statewide platform.
Understood.
I don't need Jordan on my head.
Final thing, right? Exactly. Although I think she should sell the coat that we saw in the video. Let me ask you one more thing about this. At what point does this become a UNC football / university problem?
Performance on the field.
Right, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Performance on the field, or she or he says something that impacts recruiting, which I guess translates to performance on the field.
That's a new era. I mean, if it impacts fundraising, I would say it probably comes before impacts recruiting because fundraising equals
fundraising,
recruiting.
right? It's amazing how many people, when you see these posts and I read the threads, how many people say all of these players are now trying to get out at UNC. They don't care.
50 players have left the program, I believe, since the end of last season. 28, 29, 30 players coming in from the transfer portal with a few more I know that are on the way, just wrapping up from this last cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand new football team. Good. And the other reason why you say results is because if you have any questions about how things are going to be handled in terms of messaging, there is no greater challenge for a head coach when it comes to messaging than when you're losing. You know, if he comes out there and wins, everyone's going to just go along with whatever and forget about the whole summer. If he comes in and he does not win, now we've got the challenge of messaging on a level that can actually be scrutinized beyond just, shooting the breeze.
Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. We just had the NFL draft. It was hugely successful for the SEC. I do appreciate the SEC telling us how many players were drafted from the SEC, blah, blah, blah. Granted, you've got, 18 schools now? And they're all, not all, but most of them are major football factories. Stands to reason. But that's I was amused by that. Moving on. But now you have just written, and I love when you write things like this, you have just written about the schools that have the most NFL talent. It was interesting to see, finally, after the first year in how many years? 7, that Clemson didn't have a player taken in the first 2 days, right?
And only 3 taken total.
And that the Clemson Tigers were prominently featured in your article.
I mean, there has not been a season with this much anticipation since right at the end of the Trevor Lawrence era.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just because even those years going into DJU year 1, right? I remember they started in the top 10, but then after the Georgia game, you just knew there was no chance.
Right.
That ends up being a wildly unsuccessful season. But, Clemson fans are passionate, but they're also smart. They know their roster really, really well, and they've seen rosters that can contend for national championships. Clemson football is the best differentiator between ACC good and national title good because ACC good Clemson teams can win the ACC title. Then they get into the playoff and they're not able to push it even farther the way they did when they played for the national championship in 4 straight seasons. Like, this is a program that very much understands what is required. And what is required is having NFL talent at multiple places on the depth chart. And that's what they've got right now. I mean, it is as many as 3 or 4 first-round picks, as many as 6 guys that could go in the first 3 rounds. I mean, it is real high-caliber talent. It's at, like, you've got the defensive line and the secondary, guy like Avion Terrell. Obviously, AJ's little brother, NFL scouts are going to like him. But Peter Woods, TJ Parker, both fantastic. You've got your quarterback in Cade Klubnik, who's not a surefire first-round player, but no one is ready to write him off as somebody who's not going to be in that battle or in that conversation, depending on how the draft ends up going. You're able to check a couple boxes as well when you go look at Antonio Williams, who's not the big-bodied kind of wide receiver. But we've watched Antonio Williams play a lot of football, and he is, when healthy, he gets very, very effective, especially after the catch. And that article did not even include your Bryant Wescos, who was just a freshman last year and won't be eligible for the draft until 27. Guys that were just like Sammy Brown, freshman linebacker last year, shot out of a cannon when it was his turn to be able to rush into the backfield. So I think that this Clemson team has the roster makeup of being able to not just be ACC good, but to be able to really make a run at this thing. You're not going to slot them ahead of Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, but you recognize that gap has been has shrunk a lot, especially as they return so much from last year.
Let me just dig into the Clemson thing again, because obviously they haven't looked nationally good for a few years now. To me, the real difference in everything is on the offensive and defensive lines. And I think that, and that's, if I ever talk to Bill about I still don't know the title of the book, but if I ever talk to Belichick about UNC football, that's my focus. What do you think the biggest difference is between an ACC team, a good one, and a good team in terms of SEC, Big Ten, in terms of the national picture? I hope the answer is offensive and defensive lines, because to me, that's where the SEC always wins. They have better offensive linemen, better defensive linemen, by and large. Is Clemson that good on both lines of scrimmage? Because if that's the case, then I think they've got something.
They are that good on the defensive line. They are not. And my quick on the offensive line, but my quick pushback, 16 and 18 in that whole run, not awesome on the offensive line. Like, just in terms of the way that some of those other teams can overwhelm you with 6'5", 330 future NFL players. Georgia going from tackle to tackle with future NFL players. The Clemson teams, even when Clemson was running at its hottest, now you counteracted that with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence
and great receivers, right? All of that.
Travis Etienne and like T. Higgins and just so that's why I think that the Clemson model understands that offensive and defensive line, the lines of scrimmage are, of course, where big level football is decided, but you can put together a team without being loaded up on the offensive line the way that Georgia is.
Right.
And the other last note here is Matt Luke, the Clemson offensive line coach, was at Georgia for title winning seasons.
Right.
And he's been credited with helping sort of get that group along. Blake Miller is the one player on this offensive line I'm the most excited about from the NFL standpoint.
And let's be honest, Matt Luke comes from the David Cutcliffe coaching tree at Duke. That's where before he went to Ole Miss. Actually spent time with both of them many, many years ago. Chip Patterson, as always, on a Wednesday. How does Clemson do this without heavily investing in the portal?
Well, they invested in the right players. You beef up your wide receiver room this year through the transfer portal. You go get one of the best pass rushers in the Big Ten from Purdue in the transfer portal.
Oh, so they are into it now.
Yes.
Dabo has entered the 21st century?
Well, and he's doing it at the positions that I think make the most sense to address in the portal when you're bringing in skill position player, edge rusher. I mean, like, what's the most important thing that you got to train and develop wide receivers and edge rushers for? It's go. I mean, can you train somebody in go get ball, run fast, catch ball? I mean, like, yes, when you bring in quarterback, you got to teach them a whole new system. Offensive line, especially interior, so hard, so many gap schemes, so many calls and checks and things you got to learn. All you got to teach an edge rusher is go. So if you can teach somebody who is one of the best edge rushers in the Big Ten go, then you'll be good to go.
Everybody's listed like with a position. Do they have OKG in the portal?
Our kind of guy?
Yeah. They have that?
Hey, I'll tell you, our kind of guy is the third string quarterback. Just at all times. Like, where's the Sweeney? Where's the Herb Street? Where's the Venables? Hey, go find the coach's kid. His position is OKG.
It works, by the way, in hockey. Like, I'm totally serious. These guys that grow up around the game, maybe spending time in locker rooms as kids, like the fact that just to fold it back to something that's been on my brain forever, over the last several months, the fact that Jackson Blake is this good a player without really having the game slow down for him and becoming physically capable of handling this, because I think there is still an element of him that gets pushed around because he is relatively light. But the fact that he was a coach, the son of a player, he's advanced. He's emotionally and mentally advanced in the game, which is allowing him to be effective. It's been amazing. Coaches' kids, players' kids, just, I think, understand the game at a different level. All right, final thing. Are we really buying into Cade Klubnik?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right,
yeah,
that's fine.
I'm not buying into Cade Klubnik as a generational talent, but
of course, he's a college quarterback you can definitely win with.
He's a college quarterback. You can win a national championship. If you look, you can win a national championship with Will Howard. You can win a national championship with
but Ohio State has the other level of talent, right?
Well, no, I'm just saying, and that's not a knock to Will Howard,
right?
But, I mean, think about the way that the conversation can change, because you've got your national champions that do come out of this thing, and it's like, well, to win a national championship, if you just look at the teams that have won it, you need Joe Burrow. It's like, no, you don't need Joe Burrow. Mac Jones,
right?
Will Howard, Jacob Coker. Like, there are quarterbacks that are not Jalen Hurts, right?
No, if the rest of your team is headed to the NFL, then Thad Busby can put you in position to win a national championship. Let me ask you one more quick question. Any other ACC schools nearly reach the level of you putting them in an article?
Miami.
Okay.
So Miami's got an edge rusher named Ruben Bain, who a lot of people like. He's like good pass rusher, but also you can move him inside. And they've got an offensive tackle, Francis Maui-Noa, who is, ever since he showed up at Miami, was a starter. He just one of the first, because Mario Cristobal is now entering year 4? Yeah, this is year 4 for Mario Cristobal. So we're starting to have those first 5-star tackles that he was bringing in are now starting to be on NFL draft watches. And then the reason Miami did not get included was because I don't know what to make of Carson Beck. You looked 1 year ago, Carson Beck was being considered like the first quarterback taken in this year's NFL draft. Right. Then he has the season that he had, and then he ends up, having the Tommy John surgery. And so, yeah, that was, if Carson Beck is fully healthy and plays anywhere close to what his tools or potential are, then yeah, he gives Miami a different NFL draft outlook. But as it is, though, that was the other ACC team I had on my list.
Chip Patterson. We'll talk Canes next, and maybe we're gonna talk PGA soon.
I know, soon. I've heard course history might be a thing at Quail Hollow. You know anybody who's won recently with good course history at Quail Hollow?
Who's maybe on a little bit of a big event role? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Can't think of anybody. I don't know of anybody like that. Yeah. I'll see.
Chip Patterson, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Cover 3 podcast, moderator, CBSSports.com. All right, we're going to stretch. I'm going to nap. I'll be awake by the time we come back from the break, and we will place bets. I do believe I got them all wrong yesterday. All of them. Every single one of them. I apologize. I'll do better today. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know? Along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country. Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
Are you living your best life? Do you know AARP North Carolina is working to make communities great for all ages? Help workers find easier ways to save, improve healthcare quality and access, and to protect important programs like Social Security and Medicare? Learn more about all that AARP is doing to help people of all ages by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Novant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos today. All right, we're going to stretch, then we're going to place bets. I was terrible yesterday. I stared everybody wrong. But I told you the Hurricanes are going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't get any of the goal scorers right, though.
But you didn't have to waste any of your money. You'd have to buy it, though, right?
I didn't.
Okay.
I was confident that they would win. I really that's the weird thing is that sometimes, you get this sinking feeling that, oh, man, this is not going to turn out well.
Uh-huh.
I am not joking at all. Even at 3-0, I actually still felt like they were going to win the game.
It helped that there was still 2 periods, too.
Yeah,
that
actually,
was nice.
We had only played 10 minutes, and it was 3-0.
Exactly. Oh, I didn't tell you about my Lucky Cheez-Its.
Oh, yes, you haven't told me about Lucky Cheez-Its yet. Gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so there was this thing where the last Canes home game that they played at, there's snacks up in the media area, as you know. And one of the options is Cheez-It. Well, the last home game before this past one, I had Cheez-Its, and they won. And so after the first period, when it was 3-0, not Carolina Hurricanes,
Right.
I was like, I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around.
Oh, you went and got Cheez-Its.
So I said, we need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. But I had to keep said Cheez-Its for the whole entire game. So on Twitter, if you follow me, you would see my Cheez-It story.
Oh, really? A Cheez-It thread.
And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go. Bring them to game 3 of the next series.
I know. Well, I'm going to be coming with Cheez-Its. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They're lucky, obviously. That's what did it, not the guys.
All right, before we stretch, the Atlanta Falcons as an organization have been fined.
Good.
$250,000. It is the son of defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbricht. I think I said his name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
He was the interim head coach of the Jets last year after Robert Saleh was fired.
Yes.
He was unsuccessful as a head coach of the Jets. Now, this, of course, is a sign that the Jets' disease follows you wherever you go.
They can go to the Falcons.
Yeah, exactly.
As a Panther fan.
So the organization was fined $250,000. He was fined $100,000 for I don't know how. I guess his son took Shedeur Sanders' number from the iPad.
Oh.
So they had his number on an iPad. So his son did that. Man, kids.
Yeah.
Kids. I'm not going to say anything else.
That's it, just kids.
Kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Time to stretch.
So usually when I lead off the 7th inning stretches, I'll talk about the musical artist, if that's what I'm leading with.
Right.
But I did not do that because I don't think Willie Nelson has like a Happy Peppy song that's relevant for us being Happy Caniacs. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me. But he's celebrating his 92nd birthday today and yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's doing 2 days in a row because
Willie Nelson is?
Yes.
We were supposed to see him last year.
That's right.
But he got sick and didn't.
Yes, and didn't his son play or something like that?
I don't want to see Willie's son.
His name's Lucas.
I don't care. I want to see Lucas.
I only know because this article talks about how Lucas is his caretaker now and his mom's because he's 92 years old. But
Lucas's son, who's what, 70?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, 70. No, but Willie Nelson, he put out his 77th solo album this week.
Man is
92 and he's got 77 albums.
I dig Willie.
Oh yeah.
I dig Willie.
He
you
might
can play
be 90.
7 Spanish Angels if you want. I wouldn't hate it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'll have that ready then because it's his
peppy.
birthday. Oh, but the reason why he celebrates his birthday yesterday and today is because supposedly he was born right before midnight on April 29th, but he wasn't registered in the county courthouse until the next day.
Nice. Okay.
So he celebrates on both days.
He should have been born on 4/20.
He absolutely should have. He was only about 9 to 10 days late,
Yeah.
but that's okay. So yeah, he's it's his birthday, so maybe think Willie Nelson thoughts and do Willie Nelson things if you want to help celebrate. Also, so you brought up Shedeur Sanders, the whole situation with his phone number.
Yes.
I don't know if you also heard about how his brother Shiloh got a new agent.
Fired his dad.
What? So basically, and there's no beef involved, so there's no drama like Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. It's not that bad. But yeah, he got a new agent because he said after he saw his brother basically going through the draft and having the issues he did, he figured he needed new management. So I guess he got a real agent.
He did. Drew Rosenhaus. He went full agent.
Yeah, exactly. So there's even more stuff, but no one ever hears about that Sanders.
No.
However, what they might hear about, hopefully, good bets.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right. I did poorly yesterday.
Yeah,
you go first.
I don't think I did too hot. But sticking with the hockey, all hockey tonight. Washington Capitals versus the Canadiens. Let's see if they'll close it out tonight. I'm going with the Capitals. I'll take the under 6.5. That's plus 160.
All right. I do think Washington's going to win, but my heart will not allow me to tell the masses to wager on them. So I will just give you an anytime goal scorer for each side. We're going to go with Alexei Protas for Washington at plus 290. And Josh Anderson of Montreal at plus 500.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
You know what? This Florida matchup, spicy, but I'm feeling the Panthers winning this one. So between Panthers and Lightning, give me the Panthers to win. I'll take the under 5.5. That's plus 250.
Yeah, I have Panthers on the road, too, to close it out in Game 5. And if you parlay the Panthers and the over, it's plus 246. As much as I want to see Tampa win, I think Florida's going to close that one out. All right, we have enough time to get.
Yeah.
I do think St. Louis is going to go win Game 5 in Winnipeg. I do. I think St. Louis is going to win that series in 6 games. All right, when we come back, we have a wall of sound.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned player, our expert staff will get you fit. Are you ready to trade in your current clubs? Global Golf makes it easy to trade in your previously played equipment and upgrade to your next set of clubs. Visit Global Golf today, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 919-200-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Around the boards for Hall. Hall, side of the net, marks him with the save, rebound to the front, they score! Taylor Hall on the doorstep, knocks it home, and the Canes get an early goal here in the second to make it 3-1. Mark Jankowski trying a little self-flip. He will draw all of the Devils' attention. That allows Blake to cruise in. Blake, he'll step out in front, Marshall, he can't stop it! Jackson Blake, his first playoff goal! And this place has been amped to 11. It's a one-goal game here in Carolina.
Never gets old. Never gets old.
It was an incredible evening last night.
A very long evening. We played an extra half game.
Almost. It's only 4 minutes and 17 seconds of the second overtime.
Half game-ish. I'm telling you, that first overtime, I was exhausted. Like it took a lot out of me to watch it.
Here's what, and I am seriously, I do not believe in putting negative vibes into the universe.
No, we don't do that.
I know. Especially since there's plenty of that on Hurricanes Twitter.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say in general.
Oh, in general there is. But there's plenty of that on Canes Twitter. We don't need additional negativity. But there is no question that what we saw in overtime, the first overtime last night, Canes ended up winning at 5-4 in the second overtime, is we see that where one team is dominating, and that's what Carolina was, dominating, and all of a sudden the other team goes down, and one chance, boom, it's in your net, and you go, how did we lose that game?
Yeah.
And I know that there were Hurricanes fans, and I do not blame you for being this way because we have seen it too often.
Mm-hmm. And the last 5 seconds of that first overtime made me nervous.
Right. Well, we were all still dealing with, Piotr.
Yes.
Who, look, we can pretend all we want, it was really good that the Hurricanes, really after the first period, asked him to do little.
Yes. They kept it out of the zone.
The second period, New Jersey they had a lot of transition opportunities. I think there were some block shots. I think there were some missed nets. And Kochetkov did make a few saves, but there were rebounds available.
Yes.
It was very nervous time. No joke. There was a puck flipped into the Carolina defensive zone, an aerial flip, and Kochetkov caught it like he was an outfielder.
Yeah.
And I am not kidding. I saw him lining it up, and the first thing I thought of was Scott Darling.
Oh, no.
I'm not even joking. I had a Scott Darling flashback. Kochetkov handled it, though, thankfully. But he was an adventure. He started looking better in the latter part of the third period and into the overtime. He was asked to do nothing. From the third period on, even though they had 2 power plays, the Devils had 0 grade A scoring chances from the third period on. There was a level of dominance for New Jersey in the first period. I thought the game at 5-on-5 was kind of even in the second period, believe it or not, because New Jersey did have plenty of opportunities to create offense. They just didn't get to the final part of that, which it happens with Carolina all the time. You're dominating possession, or you have the puck a lot, and you fire a lot of what ultimately ends up being meaningless shots, or you have the puck and you just don't create anything from it. And that's really what New Jersey was doing when they had the puck in the second period. Third period, overtime, they didn't have the puck. The Hurricanes dominated. The shot total from the start of the third period on, shots on goal, 34-12 in favor of Carolina. At even strength, the edge was 51-21 in terms of shot attempts. 51-21. And in all situations, it was 71-30. Remember, the Devils had 2 power plays in the third period.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the second overtime, they take the 4-minute double minor. And I was listening to Sirius XM this morning on my way in, and they're like, the only penalties they're probably going to call in overtime are delay of game, puck over glass, and if somebody accidentally high sticks somebody, they're going to call those.
Especially if there's blood.
Yeah, and there was. Shouts to Jesperi Kotkaniemi for taking one for the team. But, man, that was something else. All right, let's hear from some of the particulars in Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio.
All right, we're going to
no doubt about it.
Excuse me. Let's step on Bill Graham.
It's okay.
Let's get to Rod Brindamore on putting this series to bed.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge physically, but mentally. You know, nobody, and myself probably the number one guy, did not want to get on a plane and go sit in New York. You know, Newark, the delays, we were 2.5 hours both ways. Like, this was not something I wanted to do. And so I appreciate that we didn't have to, but the mental break will be good, but physically too, everybody's banged up. And they, you know, so hopefully a few extra days will help the group.
All right, now, it sounded to me like they stayed in New York when they go play the Devils?
Maybe.
Is that what he said? Anyway.
Yeah.
Look, Newark is much better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Having grown up sort of in a suburb of Newark, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Newark it's not your grandfather's Newark. It's a much nicer place now.
He did mention the 2-hour delays when they traveled the first time. He was like, I'm trying to avoid that.
Okay, yeah. Like, the bottom line is they didn't want to get on a plane and go anywhere.
No.
They wanted to go to bed.
I loved seeing Rod with a sense of humor.
Yeah, well, he was in a good mood last night.
He was.
Special teams. How long have we talked about the Hurricanes' power play being, I'll use a Yiddish term, dreck. The Yiddish, anyway, don't at me. Rod Brindamore on his special teams?
Penalty kill, power play, yeah. I mean, I think the penalty kill they gave up on, but really did actually a good job. They just floated one in and got a tip. That was, kind of the bulk of that. And then I thought the power play had its moments. Like, we had a lot of good looks. We had a lot of good entries where we just missed. We did, obviously the 5-on-3 executed perfectly well. I thought that was good. Yeah, I mean, the goal at the end probably wasn't the best of power plays, the way we kind of moved that around, but found a way. So proud of the group for digging in. I think it could have been easy to go out. It's 3-0. We got 2 more games we could play. We're not, but they didn't.
All right, Sebastian Aho, your hero in double overtime.
Felt unreal. Obviously, almost like black out for a second there, and the crowd goes nuts, and guys are jumping on you, and it's unreal. I mean, really good feeling.
So, who was I asked? I guess I was on with Paul and Graham yesterday, and they asked me who had to be the guy last night. And honestly, I thought it was him.
Yeah. Stay on brand. That's what he does. He's our Superman. He's like our
clutch.
OT Superman.
Right. He is clutch. Right. He is the only player with 2 series-ending overtime game winners. By the way, both of his overtime goals in the playoffs in his career have ended series. Jordan Stahl still leads current Hurricanes with 3 overtime goals, but none ended a series.
He's the serial series killer.
Ooh.
I know.
Nice.
No sleep either.
Very nice. Very nice. Here's the thing about it, is that Aho is in some ways, he's got shade thrown at him in some ways because he's not one of those. He's not the normal superstar, right? And superstar is a word that is probably too easily thrown around. He's a great player. He's not a very good player. He is a great player. I think he's had the best season of his career in the face-off circle, being close to it anyway. I think he leads Carolina in face-off percentage. He's been great in the playoffs. He does everything. He's a 200-foot player. He's defensively responsible. All of that, he's got incredible work ethic. You don't have to worry. Like, when Aho signed his big contract, there was never a doubt that he was going to, he's going to apply himself even more diligently to the craft. He's an incredible, incredible player. And I think wields a lot of influence in the locker room as well. I know Seth Jarvis looks up to him. He absolutely does. And I love it when he gets mad. I'm such a fan when Andre... but not Andre. Well,
Aho.
The other thing is Andre's playing well. And that is the player that, along with Sebastian, takes them to another place.
Yeah.
So let's keep it's been a couple of games. Let's keep it moving. One more thing before we come back with Sean Nahas of the North Carolina Courage. Jackson Blake scored his first playoff goal, but let's ask the kid, what was said in the locker room?
Not much you can really do about the pass there. It is what it is. Obviously didn't have a great start. They had their push and came ready. And they got three quick wins on us, but pretty much just said, can't really focus on that, got to turn the page, focus on winning the next period. And, that was pretty, it was that simple. Everyone bought in. I think, some teams would just kind of pack it in and say, we're down 3-0 and, we would have a 3-2 lead after this game. But that's just not the way we are. And I think it's really cool the way we won tonight. So it was awesome.
All right. So somebody came up to me on the press row. We'll have to break here, but it said, oh, man, I bet Rod's really mad in the locker room. And I'm like, I don't think Rod says anything after that. He doesn't. He doesn't have to. But this is where the culture takes over. The players know. They don't even have to say anything to each other. They understood what the mission was. They went about the business of executing that mission.
Yep.
When we come back, Sean Nahas, head coach of the North Carolina Courage, after maybe one of the more stirring wins in recent memory, knocking off previously unbeaten KC Current this past Saturday. We'll talk to him about how it happened and what happens next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Caniacs, raise up. It's time to get loud. The Carolina Hurricanes are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Join Lenovo in cheering on our hometown team. Let's light the lamp and bring the Stanley Cup to the Lenovo Center.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary, 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just 1 patient per year who might not have access to proper oral health care. Join me in making a difference.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This
is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. I believe Sean Nahas is probably feeling this way. At least he was after the most recent win over the Kansas City Current, KC Current as they are listed. 3-2, stoppage time. Doesn't get more exciting than that. First of all, Sean Nahas joins us as he does every week. At Nahas Sean. He does it backwards. Apparently somebody was sitting on Sean Nahas on Twitter. All right, sir. Walk me through the emotions of that, of what you went through as a coach, as a leader of a team.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, to be fair. We, obviously equalizing and then having to go down a goal again minutes later, and then in 3 minutes scoring 2 goals. Yeah, it was an up and down, but I think the emotions were more of a relief for our players because we know how hard they've been pushing to finally just break this little skid we've been on. And the staff went absolutely crazy. We probably should have got yellow carded for running on the field, but at that stage I really didn't care.
So for people who don't know, you go into the game, you'd scored 3 goals in, I think, 5 matches.
Yeah.
The Current were just laying waste to the league. They were 5-0, and you guys were down 2-1 late. And then Kaylee Kurtz, veteran player for you, equalizes in the 90th minute. Then you go into stoppage time, and you score again, I don't know, within 2.5 or so minutes. How does that happen so quickly? Is it because I'm sure it's happened to you at some point? It's happened to every coach one way or the other. How do those things snowball? Is it so much momentum? Walk me through how that happens.
Yeah, to be honest, when KK equalized, we as a staff we were asking, like, do we just, it's late in the game, there's a couple of minutes left, do we just take the point, be okay with it, battle back, and we just move on and go into the next week? And before you knew it, you could sense that the scales have tipped, and the players had like a completely different belief. And I think the challenge I put out to them at halftime was, we need to stop being so cautious, and we just got to go. We got to go take it.
Right.
We can't wait. We got to go. And in that moment, when we equalized at 2-2, I saw a group that finally said, we're gonna go grab this. And 3 minutes later, Ash scores the game winner. And it was just one of those moments where it's one of those things where you look at it and say, is this what changes the tide of our group?
Right.
And maybe that was the moment we needed to have happen. But yeah, it was. You never know because you just don't know how the group's going to react. Because minutes earlier, we equalized and gave up a goal. So,
right.
It's like, oh, here we go again. And then I just saw a different look in our players. There was a belief, there was an excitement, the crowd was into it, and it just carried us through. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Sean Nahas, head coach, NC Courage, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. There's a psychology of when it comes to a draw. Some draws are better than others. Sometimes a draw feels like a win, and sometimes a draw feels like a loss. There's no doubt. And I'm sure at 2-2, the Current would have felt like that's a loss to them, especially as close as it was to the end. But I have often, as I've become more and more of a fan of the game, to me, I understand there is a difference, 1 point better than no points, but to me, they're both, like, my brain processes it as 2 points dropped, right? So how do you process those things? I realize there's a lot of nuance to it because I don't know that that's not the right mentality to have anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all depends on how the game is going. I think it's all contingent on, is the game where we're chasing the game and we're down a goal late, or are we down 2 goals and we come back and we equalize, and those are the types of games where you feel like it's a win. It's the games where you are up a goal or up 2 and you let it slip away and now you're leaving there with a point, you drop 2 points. So it's all contingent on the game. There's never a game where you go and say, hey, look, if we can get a draw here, we'll feel good about it. The draws sometimes are harder to cope with than an actual loss because it's like, oh, we were, again, depending on the situation.
Right.
So, you look at the Portland game, for example, where we have a chance to win it on a PK. We don't. You feel disappointed because you feel like you could have left there with 3 points. But then in hindsight, you look and say, Portland's a really difficult place to go and play, and to come out of there with a point, not a lot of teams do. We feel good about it. So really, Adam, it's about how you spin it to the players to make them believe going into the following week.
All right. Now, you also talked about could this be the jumping off point into better results, having struggled to score goals and then seeing a breakthrough, and all 3 of your goals came after halftime. What do you we won't know until we see it, right? We won't know until Saturday in Utah, the following Saturday at home against Orlando and the defending champions in the sport. What do you make of what you saw from your team after those 3 goals go in?
I saw a great character. I saw a great character from all the players, and we knew we had it in us. So it takes that moment. I saw a belief. I saw an energy lift. I saw a trust. We obviously tweaked things a little bit in how we wanted to play, just to sort of get certain spots filled and try something different, because what we felt was what we were doing wasn't working, obviously. So, I just saw a culture, a mentality shift with the players. With again, the top team, no one gave us a chance, and no one believed we can even find a way. And to be fair, I thought we played really well throughout. And to come back twice against the league leaders who hadn't given up a lot of goals, who have an unbelievable attacking talent, to do that, I think it always makes your team believe, like, we can compete with anyone if we come with the right mentality every single day and bought in and switched on. So I saw that from the group. I saw it when KK scored the second goal. I just saw something change. And this week in training has been absolutely amazing. And it just showed me that the players and this team were pressing to get that result. And now that that's behind us, we can now just continue moving forward.
I mean, even the best players suffer, confidence issues. It doesn't matter the sport. The best players in the world all suffer. This is a different sport, but I don't think there is a high as high a level as Serena Williams played tennis.
Yeah.
Everybody that has ever watched her will tell you that, she tightened up, and she could probably have 5 more majors if she didn't sometimes allow the moment to get her. Does that, by the way, do you think that might be something that happened maybe during the PK in Portland?
Yeah, I think it's, each situation is different, right? But I think the players care so much, and these players now, they're, I think, and you're in the media business, and I think the social media aspects of the game now, really gets to these players, because with all due respect, they read the comments, they read what people think, they read the expectations of what people have on them, so it's like other people have expectations of me, I have to meet those. And as players, that's really difficult because they have their own expectations of themselves. So I think that's the part. So when something doesn't go well, they feel like they're letting everyone down, and it's almost like, what am I about to come across here? So I think you're trying to manage it. You're trying to manage it, and it's difficult.
Just wait until we all start playing fantasy NWSL.
Yeah, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Keep me away. I'll be retired by then.
Oh man, it's coming! It's coming every sport. It's
I'm aware.
There is no doubt about that. It is coming everywhere. All right, so not to look too far ahead, but for the next time you'll play at home, Orlando has how many of the best players on earth?
Well, what they've done there and rebuilding they went through several years of hardship, and they did a great job of rebuilding their roster. And you have, a great, attacking roster. You have a really good roster blend of talent, veterans and younger players. And yeah, I mean, Barbara Band is one of the best forwards in the world.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. But again, it's like you have to show up and play because let's be honest, Kansas City has that too. They have Dubina, they have Chwinga, so those teams have sort of separated themselves in how they've been built. But yeah, they're a good young side. They're loaded with talent. I would probably say this: they're probably built like our 2017, 18, 19 team, just in terms of the roster side, like how they've been put together, the types of talent they put around them. So that's what we compare it to. But yeah, they're a really good side, well coached. We're close with their staff and front office. So it's always a good match.
Not only Barbara Banda, but is Marta still ridiculous also?
It's when we've scrimmaged them in the off season and or in preseason, and I went up to her after, and I just said to her, I said, one, I'm so happy that you were able to find a way to get a championship here because you deserve it.
Right.
She's a year or two out of ACL surgery, and arguably she's playing the best brand of football that she's ever played. And I think what's happened is they put a lot of youth around her to help that. And she's an amazing person. She's a great leader. She's vocal in every dynamic. She wants the best for the club. And yeah, to me, there's no doubt in my mind when she's on top of her game, she's still one of the best players in the world for sure.
39, former Courage player Carson Pickett, also with Orlando. Yeah, they're stacked. But you guys are hot. Good luck in Utah this weekend, and we will talk to you a week from today.
All right, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
You got it. Sean Nahas, head coach, North Carolina Courage. When we come back, the NBA playoffs in the East, not as interesting. In the West, spicy. Brenden Whitted, our guy, basketball brain. A little focus on the NBA playoffs, why don't you? Next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. That's bodyarmorstategames.org. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Did you know, along with keeping their local communities powered, public power line workers are part of a mutual aid network spanning the state and country? Public power crews help their neighbors when natural disasters damage electric systems. And that mutual aid network is one of the reasons public power has the highest reliability rating among energy providers, forming a camaraderie among line workers that's second to none. Interested in joining public power? Learn more about careers at electricities.com.
Are you living your best life? Do you know AARP North Carolina is working to make communities great for all ages, help workers find easier ways to save, improve healthcare quality and access, and to protect important programs like Social Security and Medicare? Learn more about all that AARP is doing to help people of all ages by listening to AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
70 years ago, PBS North Carolina began its journey, and you, North Carolina, have been with us every step of the way. From the adventures of Mr. Rogers to the mysteries of Antiques Roadshow, from This Old House to NC Weekend, you've inspired us to keep going. Thanks to you, we've been able to expand beyond TV, touching lives in classrooms and on the go. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. There's a major shortage of mental health professionals, especially in rural areas. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Dr. Joseph Pino of Devant Health tells us about an exciting new program that's expanding mental health care in eastern North Carolina. He explains the need, especially among military families.
Military families frequently face moves across the country, long deployments, and added stress that comes with military life. And those experiences can lead to anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. The stigma around mental health often prevents people from seeking care.
Join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
There he is, the man, Brenden Whitted at HU Cosell on Twitter, basketball brain, NBA watcher. I have been stick deep in Hurricanes playoff hockey, so I have been mostly late night highlights watching. Jimmy Butler running around a court like an old man who just had a hip replacement and still hanging up numbers on the young Houston Rockets. Put that in my veins. It almost looks like the Warriors are a team out of the 90s, the way they are gutting it out and Draymond Greening their way so far through the opening round of the playoffs. What do you make of their 3-1 lead with game 5 coming up tonight, 7:30?
It kind of just depends on from night to night who's going to beat the Rockets. And we've seen Curry. He had a big game, and I think it was in game 3. And in game 4, a lot more pedestrian, 17 points.
Right.
The field goal percentage was kind of whatever. And that was more of a team effort. Jimmy Butler, especially in that second half. I don't know what Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is one of my favorite characters in the NBA, mostly because he's so willing to be publicly embarrassed. Like, he will talk crap to anybody. When he was with Memphis, he was talking crazy and greasy to LeBron, and LeBron ate his lunch.
Yeah.
And then he started, for whatever reason, he was having a good first half. Dylan Brooks, 11 points in the first half of that game 4, and then he started whooping at Jimmy, and it was like, bro, why? Why? Just why? Poor K, sir. Poor K. Because if I'm Ime, I'm like, Dylan, my guy. Because Dylan's a plus player, right? He's a starter on a good team, but Lord have mercy, don't get Jimmy Butler started. The last thing you need to do is put kindling in that man's fire, and that's 100% what he did. Butler is such a good secondary initiator of offense for them. It's why he was good. They got something like a 66, 70% win percentage. Just they got him and in the games that he started. He's phenomenal for them in what he's able to do. And it was so telling to me. This first 5 games, once he got to Golden State, he was like, I love being Robin.
Yeah.
And that's really what he had talked about in Miami for years. Hey, I can't be your number one guy initiator on offense and be number one on defense and I can't do all those things. Even I think Butler in a real bit of self-awareness understood you can't win a championship with me as your best player. But you know who you can win it with is Curry, because we've seen that before. And now he's got Butler, Draymond. The numbers are never going to, the straight up points numbers are never going to indicate it. But on that last second drive by Şengün, Gary Payton, they've been running an inverted pick and roll with Fred VanVleet, and they gotten them some really good stuff. If it's a pick and if you hedge and try to get back, Fred VanVleet can hit that open jumper.
Yeah.
And if you just switch, you usually have a guard on Şengün, and he's talented enough and strong enough to finish at the hoop. Gary Payton Jr. denies that switch. It means Şengün on Draymond. No, sir. And you're at 3-1 now, and they're going to try to finish their dinner tonight. Like, they don't want this to go any further because the Rockets are a good team. They're not quite there yet. They don't have that half-court offensive player that they really need, but they're coming, man, and the Warriors know it.
The Warriors know it, and I think the Warriors also know that because of their, we'll just say, veteran status, they probably have more AARP members than any other team in the league. The rest will help them.
Yes.
It's not about, rust or anything like that. The rest will absolutely help them. What you say about Jimmy Butler, and we're talking with Brenden Whitted, of course, our basketball brain. Here's the thing about Butler is that while he is a Robin, he has a Batman mind.
Yeah.
So that Robins don't demand the ball late. Batman does.
Yeah.
So Butler wants to be the second best player, but he doesn't act like the second. This is not a negative. It's a positive because he knows that he can be the guy down the stretch. He just doesn't want to have to be that guy for 48 minutes or 36 minutes or, 44 minutes like your LeBron James, and we'll get to that series in a minute. But the Warriors, and one more thing about them. When Draymond signed that contract extension a few years ago, you and I were talking about it. I thought that was a huge mistake for Golden State. I was wrong because he is still at without putting up numbers, he is still as important, maybe not quite as important as Steph and Jimmy, but there's not a third player on that team who's more important than Draymond Green for what he provides for them on both ends and leadership and the shenanigans of getting involved in the Rockets huddle. Love that. Love it.
If I'm a Rockets fan, by the way, him getting that flagrant as opposed to a second technical, which is what it should have been. You can't get a flagrant after the play's over, right? Like you can't. Like by the rules, flagrants happen during the course of a play.
Right.
After the play, those sorts of things are granted technicals. And so he should have been kicked out of that game. They realized, I think, one, he would have been kicked out. And then two, the first technical was nonsense. He actually was trying to break up whatever else was going on.
Right.
It wasn't him acting up. He got the first one off of reputation. He didn't get the second one based off that same reputation as an all-star caliber sort of player.
All right, now to the Lakers. I can't help but think that they're cooked, that Minnesota was the wrong opponent for them. Anthony Edwards, the wrong opponent for them. And it's not just Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle has had a good series because Randle can guard both Luka, if anybody can guard Luka, and LeBron, if anybody can guard LeBron, because they're not going to blow by him. So you got a big body who's a pretty good athlete. I want the LA Lakers to go far. I don't think they're going to win Game 5 at home.
Man, I really think they gave away Game 4. Game 3, Luka's sick, and there's really nothing you can do about that, right? Like if your second best player he looked like a shell of himself, not just defensively but offensively. But Game 4, you don't sub anybody out in the second half. I mean, like I know Tom Thibodeau's proud, but JJ Redick, like what are you doing, man? Like you're up by 10 at the end of third quarter. you have to find a way to give Luka and LeBron some rest. You can put it in, you can space it out so they're not both off the floor at the same time. That's fine. But the idea that you're going to have both those guys, LeBron's 198 years old, and Luka, a bad defender who is tired is awful defensively. Luka's closeouts were pretty much just him jogging up and just like sort of kind of putting a hand up as the guy speeds past him. He's not getting open in transition. And they didn't have any fast breaks at all.
Right.
Like even when they were able to stop Minnesota, it would stop Minnesota, get defensive rebound, and walk the ball up. Like there was no fast breaks at all because everyone is tired. You can't even do that on 2K, bro. Like you can't play one 5-man unit for the second half. And I understand that they knew they were going to have an extra day of rest. And so JJ Redick was pushing the panic button. That's fine. You have to find a way to get Vanderbilt in that game. You have to find a way to get Goodwin in that game. You have to find a way to give guys a rest.
Yeah.
And I understand that he's a young freshman coach, but that's some sort of basic sort of stuff. And you could tell it on every loose ball. They're all just a half a step behind.
Yeah.
It's not like the Lakers are an incredibly athletic team to begin with. You saw Minnesota bouncing around every single which way, and they're so good defensively because they have so many good perimeter defenders. Anthony Edwards is an absolute killer as a point of attack defender.
Yep.
You mentioned Randall, who is uniquely qualified in this situation to guard their two best players, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like Jaden McDaniel. They're always going to have at least 2+ perimeter defenders out there. You have to give your guys a rest if you want them to make a real charge against them.
All right, let me talk about two things in the East before we have to let Brenden Whitted go. The first is, as expected, I believe, the Knicks-Pistons series.
Yeah,
we're going to be here. We're going the distance here.
Yeah,
you could argue that the Knicks stole Game 1 with that late 21-0 run that turned around a game that they looked like they were going to lose. But I'm not sure the Pistons throughout haven't been every bit as good, maybe a little better. Maybe the Knicks are a little tougher. And maybe the Pistons' youth has shown at times. But every single game could have gone either way. To me, this is like old school NBA opening round playoff basketball.
You want to talk about stealing a game? The refs stole that game from Detroit. I don't care how many things you let go. If I get hit in the body while I'm going up for a game winner and you don't call it, that's terrible. I don't care about these people that, I don't want the game to be ending on a free throw line.
Right.
I don't either, but if you foul me, it's going to end. It should be ending up on the free throw line. Like
you're right.
There doesn't need to be. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that people have the idea that you can hit somebody in the body and not call it. And it's like, playoff basketball. Nah, bro, that's not basketball.
That is not. By the way, Josh Hart knew he committed the foul because he wouldn't answer the question after the game. He goes, well, wait and see what the NBA said, because he knew he committed the foul. Like, I get it. You know, you're not going to apologize for getting a break in pro sports.
Nor should he.
Right. So, but what you just said is exactly why I hate the comment from players, from announcers. Let the players decide the game. No, letting fouls go. You can't do that. If it's a foul, call it. Does sometimes the standard change for what is a foul and what isn't a foul? I get it, human nature. But if it's a foul and you don't call it, the referees have decided the game. And I can't say that word, I'm not sure. It ticks me off. It ticks me off when that happens. So
it's great. And I got to say the other thing. Mikal Bridges is getting a super pass right now. They did not. He is minus 31 through 5 games. You do not give up 4 first-round picks and an unprotected pick swap in 2028 for 17 points in what could be a deciding game in this sort of series. Like, nah, man. Like, he is skating. I know people like to talk about Cat and what he is or what he isn't. Cat has shown up in these games, man. Like, he's been huge for them, particularly late. We all know what Brunson's about to do. Bridges was brought there to be. He wasn't there to be the tertiary scorer. He was there to be the number one guy at times. Not all the time, but he was supposed to be better than this. And he hasn't been good. He hasn't been particularly good on defense, and he's been underwhelming offensively. I really hope he picks it up a little bit, or they find a way to get him going a little bit earlier.
Can I just say that when the Knicks made that trade, and I'm sort of a casual Knicks fan at this point. It's not like I've completely divorced them like I divorced the Jets a long time ago. I did not like Dante DiVincenzo being in that deal. I thought DiVincenzo gave them a toughness that I don't believe Mikal Bridges has. All right, final thing. So, Cavaliers Heat. Thanks for playing, Miami. 21-9. You lose games 1 and 2 in Cleveland by just 21-9. Oh, maybe Miami will steal a game. They lost by 37 and then 55. Is that a 16 playing a 1? What? I don't even know how to like sum all of that up. I know Cleveland's good, but did Miami just quit?
Yeah. You lose by 80 points over 2 games. You quit. I would hope that you quit, because otherwise it means you're trash, right? Like those are the 2 options. Either you do not belong on a basketball court, or you quit. And they absolutely quit. And it sucks because there are parts of that team that I like, but I mean, Jimmy Butler has to really be in like, hey guys, hey, I told you so. I told you so. I absolutely told you so. They're not good enough. Those bums over there were never good enough to play with me. And, like, it's kind of true. Like, and Bam Adebayo said it afterwards. He's like, there are going to be some changes made. Yeah, there certainly will be, and there certainly should be. I just don't know. They don't really have a ton of draft capital. Like, I don't know how this is a quick fix for them. Like, there is talent on that team, sure. Hero, Adebayo, like, I think Mitchell is good. I think he's a young player, didn't really get a lot of shine in Sacramento, but there's talent there, but there's just not enough high-end talent if you're talking about championship. Now, I also think Miami Heat fans are super spoiled. Like, they've been so much more relevant than – I mean, like, you get Wade and then Shaq, and that transitions to Wade and Bron, and then Jimmy Butler does these, superhuman efforts to get them to the finals. But, like, y'all shouldn't be championship contenders on a regular basis. Like, y'all, like, get back into that play-in sort of vibe. Like, that's really where you kind of live right now. Like, that's really where you live. And honestly, all that Heat culture stuff, I had just about had enough of it anyway. So honestly, I'm very glad to see them humbled. Like, I'm like, all right, no more this is the toughest, the strongest. No, LeBron. Okay, like let's be clear about why y'all were so successful. Oh my God, no. And it's because we work out a lot.
No, I would think you're a Knicks fan by the way you're talking here. We go back to the late '90s, early 2000s with Knicks Heat when Riley left the Knicks and went to Miami, and Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway. I love that part, but that's very Knickish of you. That is Brenden Whitted at HU Cosell on Twitter. My man, enjoy the games tonight. We got a great doubleheader: Golden State and Houston, followed by the Lakers trying to stay alive.
I just want to see more LeBron, man. Come on, just give me another one. Give me another legendary game, bro.
We need one. Thank you, my man. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, before we dive out of here, we have an update from UNC. Real quick update. Taylor Hall signed his contract.
Yes.
Right?
9.5.
3 years. It's about $3.167 million per.
A little bit.
The Hurricanes also signed a goalie who just played in the KHL. One of the better goalies in the KHL is 25 years old. So I don't know what that means. I don't think he's going to be available to them now. But definitely a goaltender for the system. Somebody had asked me earlier this week, do the Hurricanes have any goalies in the goalie prospects in the pipeline? And my answer was no one that you could expect to challenge for an NHL spot next year. And that is even as a backup. But this guy wasn't in the system before then, but he is now. Again, I don't know really how good he is. The numbers look like he's a good goaltender. And he is 25, and goalies take a little bit longer to develop, just like defensemen take a little bit longer to develop. So maybe this guy is, potentially in a year or so an NHL goalie. Those are your Hurricanes update. By the way, for season ticket members, round 2 playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow at noon.
Nice.
for those of us in the unwashed, we can buy tickets starting Friday at noon.
Okay.
Whatever's left. All right. From Bill Belichick at the University of North Carolina.
A.K.A. Jordan Hudson.
It could have been ghostwritten. Could have been. From Bill. I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. Prior to this, now I know the title.
I was going to say, now we know.
Now I know the title. Prior to this interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced, and I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, Tony Docapil, don't know if I said that right or not, or Docapil, whatever. I apologize. And the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. After this occurred several times, Jordan, with whom I share both a personal and professional relationship, stepped in to reiterate that point to help refocus the discussion. She was not deflecting any specific question or topic, but simply doing her job to ensure the interview stayed on track. Some of the clips make it appear as though we were avoiding the question of how we met. But we have been open about the fact that Jordan and I met on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. Okay. She picked him up on a flight.
I guess so.
Gosh, that's everybody's dream.
I know.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
He got more than Biscoff cookies.
Especially since my wife is flying west with my two kids tomorrow. The final 8-minute segment does not reflect the productive 35-minute conversation we had, which covered a wide range of topics related to my career. Instead, it presents selectively edited clips and stills from just a few minutes of the interview to suggest a false narrative that Jordan was attempting to control the conversation, which is simply not true. I'm not siding with Bill or siding with CBS here. I will go back to the email that was posted on Instagram, which intentionally positions Bill as one who understood that the stuff that he really wanted to promote wouldn't be promoted, but only the more salacious things, the I blanked up part of that. So even in the stuff that's football-y, book-related, he knew the salacious stuff. Here's what I would say. I have no doubt that CBS did what they did to enhance the attention of that interview, the impact of that interview. But Bill, you ain't stupid. You know the deal. I would never agree to an interview where I could only talk about the book. Ever. Victoria, thank you. Bye.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 8. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?